Good morning, this is Miss Webb, and we're going to go over the division property of exponents. This one seems to give some of my students a hard time, so let me see if I can point out the things that are causing problems. Okay, so you want to pay close attention. Here we go. Okay, we need to make sure I'm going to make you recall what we know about exponents. We know this one. Let me get my pen. We know that a to the 0 is always equal to 1. We know our upstairs, downstairs rule. If it's negative, take it downstairs to make it positive. If it's downstairs and negative, take it upstairs to make it positive. Okay, when you're multiplying with the same base, you add the powers. When you do a power to a power, you multiply. And when you have an exponent out here, it has to go on this is like the product one. It has to go on the A and on the B when it's in the parentheses. Okay, the new one we're going to go over is division power. It says for every non-zero number, A, and integers M and N, if you have A to the M power divided by A to the N power, it's A M minus N. I want to point out a few things for you. Notice this is a fraction. One's upstairs, one's downstairs. If I use this property, there is no numerator denominator. They're all on top, you can think of. They're all upstairs. It's the A and it's M minus N. Let me give you some examples. Notice the base has to be the same, 3 and 3. Okay, everybody goes, that base goes upstairs. And I do 7 minus 3, I get 3 to the 4th. Okay, which is 81. That's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That would be 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, here's another one. Same base. X to the 6th, x to the 4th. 6 minus 4, I'm left with x squared. Notice everybody's upstairs. Okay, it talks about, you've seen it a few times, when in doubt, expand it out. Think of it this way. When I have x to the 6th, that's the same thing as saying x times 6 of them. And I have 4 of them on bottom. This is x to the 4th. Notice, if I cancel these, so I'll cancel, what am I left with? I'm left with that x squared on top. Okay. Let's do some examples because, like I said, some people have a little bit of a hard time with this one. So on this one, I have x cubed and x to the negative 4th. Okay, so let's see if we can't get this going. I'm going to have the same base, which is x. I say 3 minus negative 4, which is 3, oops, I'm sorry, x. X, 3 plus 4, a negative and a negative, is equal to x to the 7th. So you have to be careful with your signs. Okay, on this one, notice everybody's upstairs. I have negative 3 minus 4. Remember, you can think of that as x to the negative 3 plus negative 4. I get x to the negative 7. Okay. Now, do I have any negative exponents? No. So now I'm going to use this one, x to the 7th. I take it downstairs and the 7 becomes positive. Let's see what other examples I have for you. Okay. There's one thing I want to show you on the previous slide, though, that I didn't show you. Okay. Let me get my pen going here. Okay. Remember how I said, oops, that, the order you do things in don't necessarily matter. You can be creative. Now, we've been using the division property. But notice, if I have x cubed over x to the negative 4, I can use the downstairs upstairs rule. I keep x cubed there, and I move the x becomes positive 4. It's x cubed times x to the 4th. That's x to the 7th. See how I get the same answer? Doesn't matter what order I do it in. Either I use the division property, or I could use the upstairs downstairs rule. Let's try it over here. This is a negative 3, so I'm going to take it downstairs. The x to the fourth's there. When I multiply, I add. Ooh, look. I get the exact same answer. And this only took me, what, one step? So sometimes when you do things, you can do them either way. You might want to do whichever way is the easiest or requires the fewest steps. And once you do some of these, you get a little better at that. Okay, back to this one. Okay, I am going to use, because we're going over the division property, first thing I'm going to do is the division property. I'm going to take that C and I'm going to say negative 3 minus 5. And I'm going to say D, 3 minus a negative 4. And I end up with C to the negative 8, D to the positive 7. Now I'm going to use my upstairs downstairs rule because I can't have a negative exponent. That's my final answer. Can I do it other ways? Yes. I'm trying to show you with the division property. Okay, this one with the division property would be negative 1 minus 3 n 2. And if it doesn't have anything, what can I put on there? A 1. M to the negative 4th n, it's just got a 1. Okay, now I'm going to use my upstairs downstairs rule. I leave n where it is. I take the m downstairs and the 4 becomes positive. So this had 2 variables. This has got 2. Oh my goodness, this one's got 3. We'll just treat each one, just go slow and take each one, do it at the same time. Here we go. X, 2 minus 1. Y, negative 1 minus 4. Z, 4 minus a negative 3. Okay. 2 minus 1 is 1. Y, negative 5. Z. Can I have a negative exponent? No. The x and the z stay upstairs. The y goes downstairs and the power becomes positive. Okay, on this one, I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to show you what would I do on this one. This one, you'd have to use the division. But what if I just expanded it out? X over x. There's my x. Okay, this one, that's y is negative. I'm going to take it downstairs. Z to the 4th stays up here. Oh, that's a negative 3. I'm going to take it upstairs. What do I got here? Those cancel. I'm left with an x. The y's are on bottom, and there's 4 and 1. Oops, I don't know why my pencil does that when it does it. 5. Z's, I add them because I'm multiplying them. And I hope you can see that I have exactly the same thing. So again, you get to be a little creative. Doesn't matter how you do it. If you don't like the division property and you have really bad problems with your signs, you might just go with your upstairs downstairs rule first and get rid of all your negative powers. Okay, let's see if I got any other examples. Oh, we got one more. If you're dividing, one more property, if you're dividing powers with the same base, that power has to go on both of them, just like the product rule. This is the one if I'm dividing and it's in parentheses, that n has to go on both. Okay, if there was no parentheses, the n would just be on the A, it would not be on the B. But as soon as you put the parentheses around it, then it becomes like that. Does that make sense? Okay, let's see, I'll get rid of that. Okay, so let's do some examples with this one. I have 4/5 to the cube, to the 3rd power. That's the same thing as 4 to the 5th, 5 cubed. Okay, so I've got 4 times 4 times 4 over 5 times 5 times 5. I got 125. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is what, 64? Yep, 64. Okay. Okay, what about this one here? I'm going to end up with 4 cubed on top and on bottom. What do you do when you do a power to a power? You multiply them. 3 times 2 is 6. I would take care of that 4 cubed. That's 4 times 4 times 4. That stays right there. Let's see if I have any more examples for you. Yep. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one. Okay, there's a couple of ways to do this one. I could do it like this. 3 to the negative 2 over 5 to the negative 2. Just put that negative 2 on both. Okay? But can you have a negative exponent? No. So I could do 5 squared over 3 squared. I got 25 over 9. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of a shortcut to that. Okay? Let me erase this one. And if I have a negative 2, I could make it positive by flipping them right away. And it becomes a positive 2. Then I have 5 squared over 3 squared, 25 over 9. Do you see that? I took the reciprocal. It's really, I'm doing the upstairs downstairs rule with that negative 2. Put the 5 upstairs, the 3 downstairs, make it a positive 2. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Okay, on this one, I do it that way every time. If it's a negative 3, I'm going to flip them. I'm going to do my upstairs downstairs rule. But I'm going to make it to the positive 3. Okay? All I did was flip them and make the 3 positive. Notice the negative 2 is still there. I didn't change that. Okay, now that would be y cubed. Now watch this. This is the one that gets everybody. That 3 has to go on the negative 2 and on the x. Okay, can I have a negative exponent? No. Do I have one? No, I do not. This is the base. The base is negative 2. You can have a negative 2 downstairs. You just can't have a negative exponent. So we're going to leave this. But what is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2? There we go. But you don't move that guy upstairs. You only get to go upstairs if you're going to change the power from a negative to a positive. Here's another one. I'm going to do m over 7a to the 5th. I'm going to make that 5 positive. And now look also, here's the other problem we have. Okay, now you got it. We can leave it. You need to put 7 to the 5th in your calculator though and get me a constant. Okay, that's it. Good luck with your assignment.